Hello and welcome to Traffic Talks. My name is Pyro and I talk about what's going on in my life, usually with a lesson I've learned, some tips and tricks you can follow that helped me, and a lot of laughs in each episode. If this sounds like something you would enjoy hearing, feel free to follow the podcast, subscribe so you don't miss an episode, and to see what I'm up to, you can check out my Instagram page linked below. Bye! Once again, the episode is on its head. I had planned on doing an episode about planning, and that fell to the wayside. As per last week's episode, I did speak about an aunt of mine that was ill. She has unfortunately passed on Friday, and we're waiting for final arrangements for the funeral, which is not as simple as it sounds because I am in Cape Town, she is in Port Elizabeth, meaning traveling, logistics, leave, all sorts of things. And I spoke about loneliness last week. I think I should speak about loss, and in particular loss of a loved one this week. So it's once again going to be short, sweet, and to the point, which is why I sound a bit somber today. But it is what it is. And I think as someone who advocates for mental health and expression of emotions, this is my way of doing that. So if you aren't in a place to listen to this episode for your own mental health and sanity, please don't. I have a whole bunch of other episodes that you can listen to that'll make you laugh. This one is a bit more somber, and I can promise you next week's one will be much better. It's about Black Friday, so don't stress. That is my intro. So when it comes to loss, because it has been so recent, I don't think it's hit me fully. But I also think that this aunt in particular was the one my mother went to help at the beginning of COVID. So it's been a long time thing. My aunt's been in constant pain. And now that she has passed, she's no longer in pain, which is a relief. You know, she could pass peacefully without pain, without suffering, because that's basically what it boiled down to. She had been suffering. She'd been in and out of hospital. She'd be on constant medication. This last stint in hospital last week resulted her in having, I think, 6 drips fed into her at one point. It was horrendous. So for this to have happened, yes, it's sad. She was 75 this past year in April, and she's lived a long and full life. 5 years ago for her 70th, we all managed to go down to PE and surprise her for her 70th. My cousin, as in her daughter, her only child, by the way, managed to book a hall, plan everything in secret, and just say, no, mom, it's gonna be quiet, we're gonna take you out for supper, like just dress up and relax. And then in the meantime, the entire family was there to surprise her. So she is our family's queen. She is a superstar, and for her to no longer be in pain and to be suffering and to just have her go peacefully in the way she wanted was, I think, the best thing that could have happened. As sad as it is that we have lost a family member, she is the eldest of my mother's siblings, which is a definite blow to the entire family. And I think it's more of a release and a relief that she had lived her life the way she did. She always helped, she always gave, she was always compassionate and always ready to be there for others. Throughout her entire life, and especially in her older age, she was always there. And I've always said she was a superstar, and she also had an amazing life in terms of the legacy she leaves behind. She only had one daughter, and that daughter went on to get married and have 2 grandchildren for her, and she saw them all the time. These grandkids love her to bits and pieces, and they did take the news a bit hard, but their mother explained, grandma's in heaven, you won't see her again, but you know, she's good now. And because of her illness, she couldn't really hold them because it was her hands that were affected, and they understood that she was in a bad way, but they were able to understand that even though they're very young. And I think that was her blessing. She got to raise and be with her grandchildren, and they just love their grandmother. It's 2 young boys, and they are just the most amazing little boys in the world. The fact that she got to spend time with them as she did was, to me, the greatest sign that she has been blessed in her life, because I do know other people and other family members who do not get to spend time with their grandchildren in a way that she has been able to. And I think that is something that we can all look on and actually admire about her and her life in general, because this is the thing that reminds us what we are grateful for and how we are blessed and how we live our lives. It's not about how flashy your car is. It's not about how much money you have in the bank. It's about the people you leave behind and how you made them feel. Because I know my aunt was amazing. I have her recipe in my recipe book for a dessert, and her love of reading is something that she and I share. We would constantly trade books. And they are just small things about the people that have touched your life that you remember. And she's one of those people who have done amazing things for a multitude of lives, to the point that we are actually worried, like, how many funeral services are we going to have? Are we going to have 2 in separate places? Are we going to just have a giant one and everyone has to just make it to where she is? Like, that is the issue. There are so many people who want to be there. Her best friend, when she found out on Friday afternoon that my aunt had passed, immediately booked a flight that she could get, which would be for the next day, which was Saturday, and left her daughter, who had come out of hospital, who she was helping, to go fly, to go sort out and be there for my aunt's daughter, the boys, and help with funeral arrangements. Like, that is how important my aunt was to this woman. So being reminded of life and what it truly means has been very eye-opening for me. And I think it's a beautiful sentiment that we can take with us as we go into this festive season where family is a general focus. This will be the first Christmas my uncle has without his wife, and the anniversary is coming up. That is going to be very, very hard. But once again, there'll be small things you remember. What my aunt did at Christmas, what she loved to make at Christmas, how she used to decorate the house. It's the small things you remember about a person. And that, I think, is the most touching when it comes to looking back on your life and what you have done. Not about how much money you've earned, how fast you've driven, and what kind of car you've got. Not about how far you've traveled. Those are things you can say you enjoyed in life, you've lived it to its fullest. But what have you done with the people in your life? And that is a question I've been thinking on extremely hard, especially in this last month. Who are the people that are going to be beside you, and who are the people who you are leaving behind when you go? What are they going to say about you? What are they going to remember about you? What anecdotes are they going to tell about you? And I've been hearing a lot over the last few days about the kind of person my aunt was, the funny things she said, and that to me is a beautiful thing to experience. So that's my 2 cents on this topic. I know it's a bit sad because that's just where I am right now, but it's all I've got. My mother actually is the one who inspired this week's Song of the Week, and it is a song by Labrinth called Jealousy. It's more of a breakup song, but reading the lyrics in the context that we are in, which is the loss of a family member, it rings so true. So I highly encourage you to go and listen to it. I was blown away by the song. Labrinth isn't notorious for being a singer. He's more of a rapper. And this song just blew me away. So that is the song of the week. That is my spiel of the week. And I hope you remember to keep being a better being, especially knowing that life is not a popularity contest. As much as social media makes it out to be, it is not. So I will leave you with that. Love you. Bye.